All right, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the new series on the channel here called Profit and Loss. Again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Michael Nauss. I'm a chartered market technician and quantitative trader. The point of this particular series on the channel is to highlight one winning trade and one losing trade every single week so you guys can see how and why I take different trades across the different markets and why, and at the same time I can constantly remind you that there are losing trades and how they're managed. And I just basically want to do more live trading content, but I don't want to do the kind of content where I just talk about, oh, this is how much money I made, and this is an awesome trade, and this is everything that's going on. So I'm mixing the good and the bad to hopefully provide you with some realism. So let's just get into the charts. Okay, so in this episode, we are going to look at two equity day trades, day trade and swing trade US stocks. I trade FX, I trade crypto, and I trade futures. So you'll see all of those in this series, but today we're just going to go two kind of really short-term day trades in equities. Now, both of these I found using Trade Idea's new feature called Stock Races. It's essentially a way to find relative strength in real time in the market. It can rank stocks by which ones are moving the most right now. And the cool thing is that both of these are kind of the same place. So ADXN, you can see this was ranked from the open. This one was moving pretty hard off the open, just off of this daily chart. You can see my buy and roughly my sells. I think it kind of combines the sells here on this chart. But the point is, I always look at the longer term picture first, and then I zoom into the actual individual name. So the longer term one on this was very simply that we were gapping over a lot. Right, we were gapping over all of this area right here, and we were gapping up into this high right here from this gap down. So the theory being, we've got all of this, anyone who's short or anyone who's sold in this area may start to buy. And then if we break this high right here, maybe we get a little bit of a pop up into this gap. It's kind of what I was thinking from the longer term chart. Into the equity chart, into the intraday chart, this is a 5-minute. Very simply put, it's a simple setup. So I marked the pre-market high. It showed up on my races around here, which again, that's the relative strength intraday scanner that Trade Ideas just built. It's a really cool concept. I'll go over more of it in future episodes, I'm sure. But as I saw this thing earlier in the day, I simply just said to the system, this is something you can do with Brokerage Plus. I said, hey, if it breaks over this high right here, I would like you to buy me some, because this high earlier in the day also corresponded with the overnight high. And again, how strong this was overnight, or this is the pre-market area. I just wanted to see a break of the pre-market high. Very, very simple trade. As this thing started to run, again, these buy tickets are right here that denote it with B and green, and then S and red. Those are the sell tickets. So I sold one after a quick move, and my stop immediately comes up to break even, right? I've locked a little bit in my pocket. I've taken risk off the trade. I can kind of sit back and let things go. As it's running up kind of later in the day, I'm just selling as things are going, and I'm moving my stop up. And you can see on this candle right here, I was stopped out the remainder of the position. Fairly simply, and the way that I manage winners is there's a button in Trade Ideas and Brokerage Plus that says sell a half, and I'm basically just clicking sell a half, sell a half, sell a half, sell a half. Okay, so now into the loser trade here on LYT. Came from the same scans that I was talking about before, looking for things that are up and moving very quickly up from the open. You can see it cleared a bunch of resistance on the daily chart. However, the one thing I want to note, and the takeaway that I may have for this loser, is simply that it didn't clear all of the resistance. So you can see how the other one had just one little high to play off of, whereas this one here has a fair amount of resistance overhead. Now, I don't think that's going to make a huge difference because, again, anybody who trapped in short in kind of this area is still feeling the burn. So that's one thing that I just want to note. Again, for myself as well as you guys, we always want to learn from all of our trades. Now, into the intraday chart, you can see same thing. Right? So we had a bit of a pre-market high set, and that was actually a post-market high from yesterday. So we had resistance here at $3.60, and we had resistance here at $3.60. So when it came through this area, I noted off of the races right here, and I'll say, hey, this thing's moving. It's got a lot of momentum right off the bat. You can see it's up 16% at the time that I took this screenshot. And just kind of could not get through there for the pre-market and the post-market. As we get through that area, that's when I enter. I put my stop loss right at the low of this candle just because it's a wide range candle. That gets triggered almost instantly. So the other thing, the reason I included this screen is I wanted to show it had relative volume of 2, so it was printing a lot of volume. It was dramatically outperforming the market, but just doesn't work. And again, this is why I do profit and loss in this series, because you can see the losing trade looked pretty close to the winning trade. And that's really the message I want to get across, is that what we do is probabilistic in nature. So there is going to be times where you do the same thing twice, and one time it works and the other time it doesn't, and that's just the nature of trading. But what we want to come in here, I don't know if I will include this every time, but what we want to look at right here is the differences in P&L, right? So that ADXN, the first one that I looked at, you can see the P&L was about $1,800 and the loss in LYT was about 250 bucks. So when you're looking at this and you say, okay, there's one winner and there's one loser, you should most of the time, ideally all of the time, but definitely most of the time, have those two net off to be profitable. If you're not, if you're noticing that, you make a winning trade and a winning trade and a winning trade, and then all of a sudden you get hit with a loser and it wipes out more than one trade or even one trade of profit, then you may want to go back and look at your risk reward. So one winner, one loser, a nice healthy profit. That's going to be it for this episode. I am going to hopefully do these every week on Fridays. Don't hold me to it if I miss one, but leave your feedback below. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? If you like this series, please hit the like button, share it about. That's how I kind of really tailor my content to make sure that I am doing what you guys want, at the same time not just showing, the best side of everything. So thank you all for coming out, and until I talk to you next time, trade safe.